All right,
And
5
the fourth
stats for you
installment of
guys
Fully Five.
that will help us figure out the winner of this Sunday's Browns versus Steelers game. The first stat is highlighting Jerry Jeudy, who's on an elite run since Jameis Winston took over at quarterback. Since Jameis took over at quarterback, which is 5 games and a quarter. They gave it the last quarter for these stats. His 34 receptions, 5th in the NFL. His 632 yards, 1st in the NFL. He has 16 receptions of 15 or more yards. That's 5th in the NFL. He has 28 first down receptions from Jameis. That is 4th in the NFL. He has 2 touchdowns, 209 yards after the catch. And if you like fantasy football as much as Bull does, he is the 5th rated fantasy football receiver in PPR games since Jameis has taken over.
How many games is this? 4 or 5?
5 games
5?
and a quarter. So
5.25
games.
I mean,
How did you get? Somebody posted this.
Yeah,
that
PFF
included the quarter?
posted this.
Okay.
So this is straight from PFF.
I mean,
All right.
listen, he a game changer right now. Like, it's whoever's gonna have a better game between him and Pickens. Whatever defensive secondary can slow they person down the best is probably gonna win this
I
game.
got coffee all over these shoes. I just noticed that.
Sloppy, man. Glitter, coffee, wife's toothbrush.
This is a messy. Yeah, we're a bit of a
you need to-
disaster.
It's
this show.
the snow. It's the weather outside. It's just
Yeah,
everyone got
These
everyone.
were
It's
white.
annoying.
And I got coffee on both shoes.
Coffee stained shoes. Who knows what he spent on those? And now they're coffee.
Who do you
stained.
think have the bigger game on Sunday? Jeudy
That's a topic tomorrow.
Never
Browns.
mind.
We'll
So if
see.
you want
We
to
gotta
give a
save
one
that for
answer,
tomorrow,
but don't.
apparently.
I
Bigger
won't
game.
be here tomorrow.
Hey, Judy's playing great. There's nothing bad you can say. I agree with G, and to me, you still have to be looking for a number 1 receiver. I don't buy Jerry Judy's a number 1 receiver, even though he's played to that level of late.
But the thing about him, though, I personally,
Yeah.
I think you'll be fine with Jeudy as a number 1. You got to fix the run game because Amon-Ra
you're allowed
St.
to
Brown
fix
is in
both.
the slot.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is way better than Jerry Jeudy.
Yes.
Amon-Ra St. Brown's been great since he came in the league. Jerry Judy's been great for 5
Talent
years.
standpoint.
I don't care about talent. I care about
What do you
production.
mean you don't care about talent?
You know what I'm saying. You could have all the talent in the world. Doesn't matter if you don't produce
I
consistently.
think if Jeudy had the run game that the Lions had, I think he could do the same things Amon-Ra St. Brown could.
Can you?
I definitely think that.
Why can't you get both? What do you got? The
What are you
Lions have a
talking
ton
about?
of talent.
What do you mean? Why can't you get both? What?
Why can't I go get another top receiver?
I mean,
and
no, I ain't
improve
saying
my
I'm not
run game?
against that at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, people be like, Judy's not a number 1. I'm like, he could be if the run game was better. I think he'd be a more productive. The dude is 5th in the NFL right now. And tied
It's a
for
5-week stretch. You don't get.
He's tied for what? What is he tied for?
Tied for 5th.
Tied for 5th.
You don't
what
get
are you talking
anointed top number
In
1
fi-
receiver based on 5 weeks.
Oh
You got to do
my-
it consistently.
He's top 5 in the league right now. What are you talking about?
But here's the thing: go pursue a number 1 receiver, and then if Judy turns out to be who you think he is, now you got
That's a
2.
great
I
problem.
mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying
That's
no.
that's
I'm
it.
just saying, like, if they don't hit, because it's not like we just magically just go
Of
get it
course
right
not.
this
It's no-
time.
there's no
So with that
guarantees.
being said, I'm saying if you fix the run games, let's say they miss or they don't even address the wide receiver position,
Yeah.
but they address the run game, I think Jeudy could still be a top 5
Well,
receiver
we'll
in this
see.
league.
But again, as Jason said, and I agree, they don't have it like Elijah Moore's a free agent. He's been obviously very inconsistent at best.
they
He's played
could
better
bring
lately.
him back. He's not like he gonna break.
You know,
the
we
bank.
don't know about Cedric Tillman. There's not enough of none of these guys have enough of a high level play track record that you could be just saying, okay, let's just stick with what we got. They still got to get better at that position.
They could get
But
T. Higgins.
the bottom line is the Browns are in terrible cap spot and have a lot of holes. They need
we beat a lot.
a lot.
We got a lot of holes.
They have they have no short thing at running back right now.
That's a draftable thing.
Yes.
You need it.
You absolutely you do not.
I hear
spend,
you.
You draft.
I agree.
Go
You
ahead.
need a wide receiver. They need offensive linemen.
That's where I was going. Left tackle or wide receiver.
First pick.
Yeah.
I'm going wide receiver.
Well,
But you just said you got to fix the run game.
you go with the best player.
DeJuan.
Yeah, but you stay out of
So
this.
DeJuan at left tackle, you watch what you say. I don't want you to get tweeted at. But DeJuan Jones at left tackle, it looked good.
Can you really count on him?
Will y'all stop
No.
that?
No,
No.
I'm serious.
You cannot.
To stay healthy, to put in the work,
Yep.
you can count on him.
No.
To keep his weight under control.
Wait a minute. You talk.
Coming off injury?
Wait a minute. I don't know. You telling me? Can you count on a guy to come in And knowing that, I can break a $100 million contract if I become the starting left tackle and be productive in the NFL. Oh, by the way, I did it, and I wasn't even 100% from my knee scoping this whole year, but I still was productive.
But
you
he's
telling
hurt
me
again.
I could be the left tackle?
He's been injured 3 times in 2 years.
I think I'd be motivated to get my weight down and stay healthy.
I think they need a guard also. I mean, Bitonio's getting old.
Well, they just drafted Zach Zinter.
And he's a ghost.
So you just going to take a third round as a bust after one season?
I'm just saying.
So welcome to the NFL.
I'm just saying.
What do y'all not have patience?
No.
more?
Listen, I'm just telling you.
Y'all got kids and y'all acting like this.
No.
Y'all know how much patience and time and love it takes for these
Zach
people to grow?
Zinter is not where they thought he would be.
Oh, I agree.
At this point.
Yeah, because
Doesn't mean he couldn't get there, but
it's not even close. For someone who played as much football as he did,
right.
coming out of Michigan.
He did not look great.
He was supposed to be close to a plug-and-play guy.
He did not.
And he is not. Not saying he can't get there, but he's got a long
You know what,
way to
though?
go.
With you've been covering football in sports for quite some time.
Too long.
When do they say that athletes take the biggest jump in their career?
First to second.
First to second, or second to third.
All right, we'll see.
Rest my case.
The Browns' whole
Thank
offensive
you.
line outside of left tackle is old.
Thank you.
They're old everywhere else
I
on
agree.
the offensive line.
No, I agree.
They need more defensive linemen. And frankly,
so you think they just left guard and left tackle is the thing? So the whole left side they need replacement.
I think so. I mean,
But you good with Ethan, Wyatt, and Jack.
I think in the next couple of years you got to replace Posick too, and you need defensive linemen, and the whole secondary is outside of Ward is not very good.
Well, we're gonna get to a secondary stat coming up.
All right.
Gonna highlight the second stat real quick. Though is piggybacking off the first one with Jerry Jeudy. So if you take out that fourth quarter in just the 5 games, Jerry Jeudy has 614 yards over that 5 games. He's just the second Brown ever to record 600 receiving yards in a 5-game span. The other is Josh Gordon, who did 841 in 2013. That's 227 more than Jerry Jeudy, which is just an absurd amount. Absurd.
The Josh Gordon season in 2013 was like nothing I've ever seen in my life. Because he did it like all these other guys that have put up those crazy numbers in recent NFL history have done it with great quarterbacks, or at least solid quarterbacks. He did it with trash.
DeAndre Hopkins did it with the Texans.
You had Deshaun.
No, before Deshaun got there.
Didn't he have Matt Schaub?
What? Don't do that. Okay, is that respectable?
I mean, Schaub had
Matt Schaub was a legitimate.
He
NFL
had a couple years.
Superstar.
Y'all about to
What are you talking about?
Matt Schaub.
He had a couple.
I'm not saying he's a star. He's better than Brian Hoyer and
Schaub had a couple years of crazy
guys
passing yards.
that the Browns had thrown to him.
Okay.
You know, Schaub led the league in passing yards that year.
Exactly.
What?
He threw for 4,800 yards,
Thank
Tyvus,
you.
and 29
Matt Schaub,
touchdowns.
I'm not saying
just
he's
looking
not
it
an
up.
all pro. I'm just saying he was a while. He was
Next
a
thing y'all gonna
decent
tell
starter.
me is Taylor Heineke was top 10 when he was throwing the
please.
Terry.
You can't compare. Taylor Heineke's a backup. Matt Schaub was a
He threw
legitimate
for
starter.
4,770 yards, 29 touchdowns.
How
and
many
15
yards
interceptions.
did D-Hop have that year?
Probably 18.
No, that was 2009. D-Hop wasn't around in 2009.
Oh, okay, yeah. How many years was Matt Schaub a starter? Mike?
Matt Schaub.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, the guy was a legit starter. What are you talking about? You might probably saw him at the end of his career when he wasn't any good anymore. But so the year that Hopkins had the 1,800, who was the quarterback? Was it Schaub still? Or whatever.
No, it
when
couldn't have been
Hopkins had a big year.
I think it was Deshaun.
Hopkins never had 1,800, by the way.
What's
Hopkins
the most he ever had?
1572, and that was Deshaun.
Yeah, so what the hell are you talking about, Tyvus?
I thought he had.
That's all right. I said Evan Mobley's left-handed. We all have those moments.
Did you say that?
I was convinced he was left-handed for about 18
Yeah, he
hours.
got ripped on the podcast for that.
Yeah. I was convinced he was left-handed.
I thought D-Hop had. I'm not saying he went out and had 1,800 yards or anything, but he had 1,000-yard seasons with.
But I'm not talking about 1,000-yard seasons. Josh Gordon had 1,600 yards playing with Jason Campbell and Brandon Whedon.
Odell had a weak Eli Manning.
What are you talking about?
You're making yourself look silly here.
Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer.
You're
I mean, I
stretching
wouldn't
your
vote for him, but he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Even I, who wouldn't vote for him, acknowledge he's at least close to being a Hall of Famer.
Y'all act like these dudes is top tier quarterbacks. That's what's bothering me.
Tyvis, there's a big difference between Eli Manning
And Brandon
Whedon.
and Brandon Whedon. Are you kidding me?
I guess.
Brandon Whedon's never been a starter really, except for 1 year with the. Who threw to him that year? Was it Whedon Campbell or Whedon and Hoyer? I don't even remember.
Whedon, Campbell,
And he
Hoyer
only
were on the
played
roster.
14 games because he got suspended.
That's
the
the other
80th
part.
time.
Yeah, he only played in that 2013 season.
Yeah, 14 games, right?
14 games.
He had
and
1,600.
It was Jason Campbell for 8 games, Brandon Whedon for 5, and Hoyer for 3.
I mean, come on.
Good Lord.
And by the way, that stretch where Gordon had 800 whatever yards, Mike, I believe that's the best stretch in the history of football. It was like 5 weeks in a row. He was getting it seemed like he got 200 yards and a touchdown every week, 2 touchdowns.
It was feed.
And the Browns sucked.
They was feed. He was the only thing they had.
He went 125, 237, 261, 151, and 67.
I think I won a fantasy title that year.
He might have.
You picked
think
him
I
up
did.
in fantasy?
He might have, yeah.
Yeah, I think I did.
That's
Josh
crazy,
Gordon.
man.
Fantasy.
was-
All right, next stat. This
Yeah.
one goes back to what Bull mentioned earlier. I got this first part from Tom Withers, and then I confirmed the second part. But do you know in their last 20 trips to Pittsburgh, the Browns are 0-20?
I didn't realize it was 0-20.
Tim Couch
Really?
was the
Well, in the
quarterback.
regular season.
Regular season,
Because
yeah.
they beat him in the
regular season,
playoffs.
Regular season. 20 regular season games. Tim Couch
Oh my
on
God, I didn't
October
even
5th,
realize that.
2003
Really?
was the last Browns quarterback to win a regular season game in Pittsburgh. And Bull, as you mentioned earlier, the Browns haven't swept Pittsburgh in the same regular season.
I think it's 88, no?
Well, they did in 88, so since 89 they haven't swept them.
right, since 89, yeah.
Really? We haven't won in Pittsburgh? And I
They
did
won the
not know
playoff
that.
game.
So in the last
I know
20
that.
years, the Browns are 1-0 at Pittsburgh in the playoffs and 0-20
Correct.
not in the playoffs. What are the odds of losing 20 straight to a team? It's probably the only scenario like that in all of the NFL.
What's the spread on the game right now?
I bet you the Steelers are favored by a touchdown.
I saw 6.5 yesterday.
Yeah, probably.
Dang.
I kind of like the Browns with the points.
I was just about
Although
to say.
I had the Browns with the points last week, and they didn't.
you would have had it if he didn't throw the
Should've.
pick at
I
the.
know.
I did the Sean King breakdown, by the way. It's going to
Yeah.
air tomorrow on KYC.
Yeah.
Some really good stuff from Sean. 6.5 is the current line, by the way. All right, next stat. Bull, you like
I
this
love
one.
Sean, and I love his love for Jameis. I really do.
He's upped
But,
it. It's gone even higher.
I mean, he don't even criticize him when he throws the pick, though.
He did. We
All
have
right.
picks in tomorrow. You will hear some
I
criticism.
mean, Sean said on the show the other day that he should get $30 million a year.
What did
I
he-
needed,
whoa,
I needed
whoa,
a seatbelt
whoa.
in my chair.
Yeah.
No,
that
he,
was- that
no,
was
he
crazy.
did.
I did. I flipped it on. That I was watching that.
Oh,
Day.
I was here on Tuesday.
Go back and watch. He said $30 million a year.
Tyvis, I missed it too when
Did he
Jason
say
texted
that?
me. He did. I didn't catch it live.
Did you go back and listen to it?
I did. He did say it.
That's crazy.
$30
Cal.
million a year.
He said it with such conviction.
He's
sounded
never going
right
to
in
get
the
there.
moment.
He's not. I mean,
He's not getting $30 million yet.
Well,
He's not getting $30
Who,
million.
I mean, this quarterback. What? That's like what middle of the line money.
And now it is.
if the Browns decide he's their best quarterback for next year, then I'd offer him a 2-year deal where you can get out of the second year scot-free if you're the Browns.
They can't pay any quarterback $30 million.
well, not $30 million.
no, but I'm just saying, like with their cap situation, they can't pay $30 million.
They're
to a
more.
quarterback.
They're more over the cap for next year than any team but the Saints.
So DTR and Deshaun's gonna be the quarterback.
No, they can still bring back Winston if he wants to come back so bad. Nobody's paying him big money.
No.
I thought Dustin made a great point yesterday. He said, because J and G, but especially J, have made the point of like his value. If he keeps playing well, his value is going to go up. And Dustin was like, he threw for 500 yards, but you still nobody's going to
497.
no other team is watching Jameis and saying, "Oh boy, we got to
gotta get
pay
that."
him after that."
Yeah.
because you see the picks at the end.
He will be a starter next year.
Of course, and he should be.
Yes.
Well, we
There's
said
not
the same-
30 quarterbacks
we said
better
the
than
same
him.
thing about Joe Flacco.
Yeah, but Jameis is 10 years younger than Joe Flacco.
I agree with that, but
I didn't think Joe Flacco was going to be a starter this year. Did anybody think Joe Flacco was going to be a starter this year? I didn't.
No, George J did.
I mean, he was for a couple of weeks.
But not in the beginning of the
Right,
season.
right.
After, that's when Richardson got hurt and benched. But
Yeah.
but then but Jameis 100% will be a starter. But nobody's paying him $30 million a year. No chance.
Jameis is part of this next stat.
Yeah.
So last week against Denver, you mentioned 497 yards. Russell Wilson against the Bengals threw for 414. If you combine their passing totals, 911 yards. That is the most total yards a pair of quarterbacks has ever thrown in the week before they square off against each other. 911 total passing yards between the two. That is the most ever in the week before they face off.
That's a cool stat. Not a surprise.
That's ridiculous.
Well, it's a surprise when you consider it's the Steelers and the Browns of all teams.
That's
you don't
true.
think of
You
air
wouldn't-
raid offenses.
Yeah, you wouldn't have
Yeah.
guessed that. That's true. That's a good
It
point.
was
I mean,
hot.
some of
They
those-
was feeling it that day.
Some of those run and shoot offenses from the 80s
Yeah.
put up crazy
Oh, yeah.
passing
That's
numbers.
true.
I also saw, and I did not confirm this, but when you added the interception yards against Jameis,
Oh, it's over 600 yards
it was
total.
673, which would have been
Yeah.
the most yards ever accumulated by a quarterback or any player in the history of one game. But I don't have that confirmed. But 673 was the total. All right, last stat.
He wrong.
This is something that's going to impact the game a lot. Tyvis, you mentioned George Pickens earlier. So according to PFF, Russell Wilson is the highest graded thrower on deep passes this season, throws of 20 or more yards. He's a 97.4 PFF grade
we got
on
initials
deep
here?
passes.
That's
Yeah,
really
because it's too long. George Pickens on deep routes has run 25 deep routes this season, according to PFF, 20-plus yards. He's caught 14 of those 25 for 474 yards. He is a 99.9 PFF grade on deep routes this season. Quarterback ratings against for the Browns on deep routes, so passes over 20 yards, according to Next Gen Stats. Denzel Ward has an 80.2 passer rating against on deep passes. Very good.
Yeah.
Top 10 percentile in football.
Go
MJ
Bucks.
Emerson, a 110.3 passer rating against, according to Next Gen Stats. That's in the 70th percentile. And Greg Newsome, a 119.5 QB rating against on deep passes. That is in the 97th percentile. On the bad end, you want to be high.
Right,
this is
right.
on the low
So,
end.
Right.
As
Very,
we've been
very
saying
bad.
all along, Emerson and Newsom have been awful.
They have been very bad against deep
Yeah.
passes this season.
Wow, they've been
and it's
bad,
something
period.
Something to, well,
So,
yeah, but
so basically, what you're saying is Denzel Ward should be shadowing.
Absolutely.
I would.
Did he
yes.
shadow him the last game?
I don't remember.
I don't
I don't think he did either.
I don't.
You know, it's funny because
I still don't understand why Surtain wasn't shadowing Jerry Jeudy.
the funny thing about the Denzel thing is, so you know, I met up with Sherm and I was talking with the guys, and that was the question. Sherm was like, "Does Denzel Ward follow?" And I'm like, "Only when it's bad. Like he really kind of stick to his side." And he was like, "Well, my point would be, all they got is George Pickens, so why wouldn't they shadow?"
Right.
And I'm like,
It's true. They got
"Good
nobody
question.
else.
I don't know."
Yeah.